Donald Trump and his regime are doing everything they can to cover up his dark, sick, dastardly past. We were wondering, okay, what was their strategy going to be to block the release of the Epstein files when, based on the current law, they must be released on December 19th. And we've been flagging here what the evolving plan was by the Department of Justice and the FBI. They were going to say that they've released all of the documents that they're required to by law and that are otherwise not prohibited by court orders. Remember last week we showed you that one of the first moves the DOJ did was they rushed into federal court to demand that grand jury testimony be released when under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E and Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6, this grand jury testimony is not allowed to be produced. And so what I said this Trump regime was going to do is when the federal courts denied the production of grand jury testimony, they're going to say, see, the courts are denying the production of documents, and they were going to try to trick you and trick the public that may not know about the way court proceedings work and grand jury proceedings versus the files, that, oh, look, a court's the one blocking it, so there's nothing we can do if the courts are blocking. Well, we have a few things happening right now. There has been public records requests made, and we have federal judges in D.C. like Judge Tanya Chutkin expediting the FOIA request, the Freedom of Information Act request to turn over the Epstein files. We have other federal judges like Judge Berman and others in New York who are basically saying to the Department of Justice, all right, based on the Epstein transparency law, tell us all the documents that are out there and let us know what's included in your file. Don't try to set us up as the court. And here's what we're seeing as well. This is what Kash Patel said when he was on state regime media, which calls itself Fox, on Tuesday evening. This is basically the plan that the regime is laying out to cover up the files, just so you see what's taking place here. Patel is responding to Laura Ingraham, and they act like the Epstein files are released. So Ingraham's like, all right, so you wait a little long, but now they're out there. So do you think that you may have took a little bit too much heat for waiting so long? And then you'll hear what Kash Patel goes. He's like, we are putting out as much as we can that is lawful and not prohibited by court orders. Now, they're going to make the decision what they consider to be lawful, and they're going to say anything that involves privacy issues or any of these powerful men who were listed in there who were never actually charged, we can't release their names. And remember what MAGA Mike Johnson said, because we'll be creating a class of new victims. That's sick and disgusting what they're saying, but that's what they're saying, is that all these other people who are listed who were never prosecuted, we can't make them the new victims. I know, it's horrific. That's what MAGA Mike said. But I just want you to watch this. This is the Trump regime plan. They've got propaganda media Fox that's kind of trying to tell its audience, like, so you're doing it, right? You did what you got to do. And then Kash Patel's like, well, we already released 40,000 documents. We've done a lot. And, we're just going to produce what's lawful and what's not prohibited by court orders. I want you to watch what he says right here, because this is very telling. Here, play this clip.
Mr. Director, our viewers also are just, they're chomping at the bit on why it took the Epstein files so long to be released. Any regrets there? Was that an unforced error? Just should we have gotten them out earlier? Just get them all out there? Just thought I'd give you a chance to react to that.
Yeah, look, this FBI has produced 40,000 pages of documents to Congress. To put that in comparison, Wray put out 13,000 in 7 years and Comey put out 3,000. We're committed to transparency. We're putting out as much as we can that is lawful and that is not prohibited by court orders. And those are the things the DOJ is fighting still with judges in court to make sure we can reveal everything without breaking the law. And that's what we're committed to doing. We're doing it as fast as we can, and we're going to keep doing it, not just on this, but about Arctic Frost because of this FBI's discovery of the illegal surveillance of senators and staffers. You know about Russiagate because of mine and Devin's work from back in day. And we're going to continue those investigations. And you bet we have ongoing criminal investigations on both those fronts, because the guy who launched Russiagate, me as a senior staffer back in House Intel, is now the director of the FBI. And I'm not going to end this mission without destroying and leveling the full weaponization that occurred before I got here.
Finally, I know you got to.
Now, while this is going on, I want to share the following with you as well. Jason Leopold over at Bloomberg has been an incredible, he is an incredible reporter, but he's been on this Epstein beat better than just about anybody. And here's what he says. Here's a rare look behind the scenes at the FBI's review of the Epstein files in March, based on emails that he obtained via the Freedom of Information Act request. Dan Bongino was copied on an email related to the guidance on the types of redactions to apply. So redactions, you know what that word means, right? Where they basically remove or they cover up the names or they cover up portions of the emails. They redact it, they block it for whatever reason they're going to claim. Privacy reasons, ongoing investigation, has victims' names in it, whatever it is. So this redaction project was going on throughout February and March. But take a look right here. Look at this email that's sent from Leslie Bakshies to Dan Bongino. You see it March 18th, 2025. And here's what the email says. Good talking with each of you yesterday. We're happy to support. I wanted to share the below as we seek guidance from the GC, I think that's General Counsel, on the types of redactions to apply to these documents so we can process the right way out of the gate. Regardless, we are here and ready, looking forward to welcoming New York and WFO to Winchester today. Signed, Shannon. Now, here's the thing. You see the redaction right there? We don't get to see what's listed there. Is Trump's name listed in there? What does it mean when they say, I want to share the below as we seek guidance from the General Counsel on the types of redactions to apply to these documents so we can process the right way out of the gate? Then it's not blank there. That's a redaction right there. So Dan Bongino gets this March 18th. Now, Mr. Dan Bongino, the podcaster before he got this deputy FBI director job, who talked about the FBI is doing the cover up, the FBI is involved. You're the FBI and you're doing the cover up right here. So Bongino had to respond, or Bongino chose to respond to Jason Leopold's reporting. And here's what Bongino said. Folks, I entered on duty on March 17th. The emails in this chain you see forwarded to me at my request were sent before I began in my position. I wanted to review what have been done before I entered on duty. It was a priority. And as you can see, they responded immediately. I'm glad that these emails are available for your review. And Jason Leopold writes, Dan Bongino responds to FBI emails I obtained via FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, about the processing and redactions of Epstein files, including one email sent him. Bongino says he started as deputy director a day before he received the email, says he's glad emails are out, but the FBI still withheld 160 pages from Jason Leopold. And these emails relate to the process of the gathering of the emails. I just want you to think about that the FBI is not just withholding the Epstein files. They're withholding emails about the process of looking for the Epstein emails in March and in April. So if you take a look right here as well, yeah, I mean, it has Bongino says he started on March 18th. So what? You were aware of all of these redactions taking place then. Okay, look, what's your point, Bongino? What's your point, Bongino? And you're still withholding a ton of documents, as Jason Leopold says, regarding the instructions for collecting the Epstein files right here. And you'll all remember that Leopold got emails that talk about how the FBI in overtime alone, counterintelligence, international operations, and others spent over $851,000 in overtime working on the Epstein files just between March 17th and March 22nd. According to documents, FBI personnel clocked in a total of 4,737 hours of overtime between January and July. Of that, more than 70% occurred during the month of March, while personnel reviewed the Epstein files, the documents show. And then Leopold just published some of the branches within the FBI that were moved away from the other work they were doing onto Epstein duty. These are all the divisions at FBI involved in the review of the Epstein files Earlier this year, between March 15th and March 22nd, 934 FBI agents and other personnel reviewed the files and clocked in 14,278 premium pay hours, essentially overtime, and were paid $851,000 in overtime. Just look at these divisions right here that directed their attention to focus on the Epstein files. So all of this stuff is done and ready to go. Now they're just delaying until December 19th, and then they're going to say, oh, well, here's the reason that we're not releasing them. It's not lawful or courts are preventing it. But just look at these divisions. The Counterintelligence Division, the Counterterrorism Division, Criminal Investigations Division, the Cyber Division, the Directorate of Intelligence. You've got a Human Resources Division. You've got Inspection Division, International Operations Division, New York City's Division, Operational Technology Division, Security Division. I mean, all of these resources were put into reviewing the Epstein files with a emphasis on redactions. Redact, 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 remove, redact, cover up, cover up, cover up. That's what it means.
You know, the guys at True Classic started with a really simple mission: bring premium, comfortable clothing to the masses, because looking and feeling great should not come with a designer price tag. And honestly, they nailed it. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Over 25 million shirts sold to 5 million customers and more than 200,000 5-star reviews. This brand has become a staple in closets everywhere. But what I love is that it's not just about the fabric or fit, it's about confidence. It's about helping people show up every day feeling put together without trying too hard. And that's exactly why True Classic makes the perfect gift this holiday season. Dad, brother, partner, it doesn't matter. And now they've even got stuff for women and kids too. Same premium comfort, same perfect fit, just expanded for the whole family. And look, these pieces fit exactly where they should. They feel incredible and they don't break the bank. You get that tailored look without sacrificing comfort or blowing your holiday budget. I've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and you could feel the difference the moment you throw one on. Tailored where you want it, relax where you need it, no bunching, no stiff fabric, no BS, just clean, effortless, real-life comfort. So skip the guesswork and the overpriced designer stuff. Give comfort, give confidence, give True Classic. You can find them on Amazon, Target, Costco, and Sam's Club, or head to trueclassic.com/Meidas to grab the perfect gift for everyone on your list. That's trueclassic.com/Meidas, MEIDAS.
By the way, just take a look at this email that Leopold got as well about the cameras in the special housing unit where Epstein died. It says MCC, that's the prison, video containing 147 cameras that were active before and after Epstein was found dead. Each video is 24 hours long. The cameras were stationed all over the prison at various locations and angles. They did not capture anything significant related to the suicide, since the cameras in the special housing unit where Epstein was located were not active at the time. Thank you and the team. I'm happy to address any questions. Signed, Leslie, right there. Now, I'll share this with you. This is what Pam Bondi said. What was this, about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago? Notice the language that she uses is the same language that we're seeing from Kash Patel. Lawful this, lawful that. Here, play this clip.
A new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files.
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Yeah. When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward. And we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Wedding, Madam General. On Ryan Wedding, you mentioned, Madam Attorney General, the issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information? And would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District of New York.
Now, you also know that Ghislaine Maxwell is refusing to speak with the House of Representatives, even though she speak to Donald Trump's former lawyer, turned number 2 at the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche. Remember, she gave that interview where she lied through her teeth. Now she says that she's going to invoke her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and not speak with the House Oversight Committee because there's an active cover-up. Trump moved her to the facility in Texas, the minimum security facility where she's having the time of her life, and Trump's likely going to pardon her before his term's over, the same way he pardoned the top narco terrorist, former president of Honduras, who, by the way, Trump's other personal lawyer, Emil Bove, when he was a federal prosecutor, he was the one responsible for that prosecution. But I also think part of Trump pardoning these like drug traffickers is that I think he's also priming the public so that they're don't even think twice when he ultimately pardons Ghislaine Maxwell because he's already pardoned some of the worst human traffickers and drug traffickers that they are. So why not pardon this child sex trafficker? Because the regime's already pardoned all of these horrific people. So you heard what Bondi said. You know Ghislaine Maxwell's not speaking. And finally, here's MAGA Mike Johnson saying that the issue is that with the discharge petition that became the law to release the Epstein files, MAGA Mike argued that it creates new victims, that the men who were listed in the files are new victims because their names are going to get released. That could hurt their reputation. Here, play this clip.
The discharge petition could create new victims, okay? Because it requires the DOJ to release information even in cases where the DOJ or the FBI has already reviewed it and determined it is not credible. It is false information. Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims. Their names may be in these files and they had nothing to do with this. And so by just haphazardly releasing it, you're going to destroy their reputations. Releasing information containing the names of innocent people would subject those innocent people to a guilt by association. It would create an entirely new group of victims who have no means to clear their names. That's a concern of Congress, and it should be. It should be.
So that's the strategy. We're just letting you know in advance so you can, on December 19th, when it rolls around, you'll see what goes on. We love good journalism, and Jason Leopold at Bloomberg is one of the best. So I always want to give credit where credit is due, and he's a great journalist. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.